Yo, what's good, everybody? How's everyone doing this Tuesday night? Because it's time for the official review of NXT 2.0. Obviously, I guess you could say, this was the go home episode of NXT before spring breaking. As obviously, we saw what happened towards the end with Rick Steiner, Braun Breaker, and Joey GACY, which we will talk about. Hopefully everyone's had a pretty good day so far. I know there's been some news going on, especially with Becky Lynch and her comments about the AEW Women's Division. If we have time, we'll talk about it. But yeah, yep. Anyways, let's not waste any time. By the way, my NXT spring break-in predictions will be coming out this weekend, probably this Saturday though. I got a video plan that's coming out this Thursday, so that predictions video is most likely going to be taking place this Saturday. Probably. I don't really know. But we did kick things off, man. As I'm getting some more stuff situated here. Sorry I'm late. My internet's been going in and out. Hey, man, that is fine. I appreciate it, man. And by the way, for all the new people coming in, make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let's get this channel up and running, all that good stuff. Like I said, pretty solid episode of NXT tonight. From start to finish, things were like pretty solid. So, yeah, pretty good. NXT. Well, one thing I got to give NXT credit on, I think one thing that they do really good, and you could tell it like they showed it tonight. I think NXT just does a really good job at really promoting their women. Like tonight, the women, I must say they got a lot of a lot of like attention tonight, and obviously with the announcement of the whole NXT Breakouts tournament, which should be really good. So yeah. All in all, it should be a really good. It should be really good. So speaking of the women, we kicked things off with the women's match. We had Nikia Lyons taking on Lash Legend. Obviously, these two women are no stranger to one another. And, Nikia Lyons and Lash Legend, like, they were going at it, obviously, like, starting off hot and Fury. And in the end, sorry, that was my Siri in the background. But in the end, Nikia Lyons does get the win here. Obviously, she follows up with the big kick, and she wins the match. But after the match, we do see Natalia coming out, and obviously she's attacking Nikia Lyons. Obviously, those two women were going at it backstage last week, their little confrontation. And Cora J comes out with her skateboard, and this leads to a little tag team match playa, which is being set up for next week's NXT special spring break-in. Nikia Lyons, Cora J taking on the team of Natalia and Last Legend. So should be a really good tag team match. Nikia Lyons looked pretty good tonight. Last Legend as well. Lash Legend, she's not the best in ring, but I will give her credit. She does do a really good job as getting heat. So you could tell like the internet was exploding with this matchup for the woman. So now we were supposed to get a match between Tony D'Angelo and Exxon Quinn, but Exxon Quinn actually well, he's not injured. Like they say that he was like unfit to compete, but we all know the real reason. The real reason obviously is, you got Tony D'Angelo, who didn't even really seem like a heel tonight, but Exxon Quinn, he's a full-on heel at this point. So obviously their whole matchup, honestly, it makes little to no sense whatsoever. So I can see why they put Quinn out of the match and they replaced Von Wagner. But, regardless of the replacement, Von Wagner, who's been doing a pretty good job so far with Robert Stone, like they've been doing some pretty underrated stuff right now. But him and Tony D'Angelo, they actually have a really good matchup here. But I don't know about you guys, but it really did seem that Mr. Tony D'Angelo seemed like he was the baby face tonight. I don't know why, but I don't know if they're still presenting him as a heel, because it feels like even with this feud going on with Escobar, it really does seem like that Tony D'Angelo is the baby face in this one. I can't tell. I may be wrong. But is Santos Escobar babyface or a heel? I think Santos Escobar, especially with the way he attacked Tony D'Angelo, obviously, causing, Von Wagner to get the win. I think Escobar's a heel. The way he just attacked Tony D'Angelo with the baton, his leg. I think we all know Von Wagner's a heel, but we all know that Escobar is a heel. So hopefully that sums it up. We get Roxanne Perez backstage. She's talking with Indy Hartwell and Priscilla Parate. Toxic Attraction, being the mean girls that they are, come up to her, talk about her win. Like, you only got that win because of that idiot Wendigo. Perez is like, hey, I'm ready tonight. Mandy, you want to go? Mandy's like, oh, so you didn't want to go last week, but you want to go this week. All right, sister, we can go tonight. So that sets up tonight's main event match between the two women there. And so far, Roxanne, even though this is her second match officially on the NXT brand, Roxanne has been doing some pretty good stuff. The fact that her second match here on the main roster, on NXT, NXT 2.0, is against the legitimate NXT Women's Champion Mandy Rose. That tells you a lot how much the NXT officials have on Roxanne. And plus, it also adds up that she's a former Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. So, yeah. Okay, so after that, we were supposed to get a match between Nathan Frazier, the debut of Nathan Frazier, taking on Buddy Hayward. But the match doesn't happen because Grayson Waller comes out of nowhere. He attacks Hayward, basically calls Nathan Frazier this British wannabe, like, dude, like, you're a wannabe, get out of my ring, all that good stuff. Andre Chase comes down to the ring. He and Waller start going at it, and then of course Nathan Frazier takes advantage, drop kicks him, springboard drops kicks him, does a crazy suicide dive. That man got leaps. And despite the fact that he didn't wrestle tonight, I think tonight shows that Nathan Frazier, he could be something, man. Like, I know, again, this wasn't a match. This was more like an introduction for Nathan Frazier into the NXT 2.0. But I think Nathan, man, he could do some good stuff here if he keeps it up. And obviously working with someone like Grayson Waller, who's effective at getting that heel heat, I think their match should be really good. So I'm really looking more to Nathan Frazier's, debut. I think Santos Escobar is a babyface because last week Tony D'Angelo cost Santos Escobar the match. Well, we're gonna have to see. Maybe when they do this sit down meetup, I think that will probably decide on who's the heel and who's the babyface next week. All right, so we get, again, like I said before, they're doing this whole, they're finally, well, I don't know if they did it last year, but I think this is the first time that they're doing NXT Women's Breakout Tournament this year. And we get the first competitor confirmed, which is Ariana Grace, which, for those who don't know, this is actually the real-life daughter, and you can look this up for yourselves. I am not BSing you guys. This is the daughter of the Cobra Man himself, Santino Marella. So Ariana Grace, real life name Bianca Carly, is the daughter of Santino Marella, and she's a very good, beautiful looking woman. So, and she does have experience in MMA and boxing, so she should be pretty solid in the ring. I wonder if Santino's been giving her some pointers in the ring, no doubt, during her up and coming in wrestling. So we'll see what happens. All right, so we get a tag team match player. We get Ulysses Leon and Valentina Faraz. If I mispronounce those names, I apologize. Taking on Cantina Chance and Kaden Carter. Now look, when WWE makes these name changes, I'm okay. Like, I know that, like, when they took Austin Theory and they made him Theory, I was like, that's okay. They take Tommaso Ciampa, now it's short for Ciampa, or Walter, now with Gunter. Caden Chance, who's formerly Casey Catanzaro, might be the one name change that doesn't sit wet with me. I don't really get what the problem was with Casey Catanzaro. Like, the name was cool. I don't know why they decided that we're gonna change the name. You know what I mean? Like, they're just sitting in the operating room. Well, they're sitting in the room, the creative room, and they're like, let's change Casey Catanzaro's name, which I don't know why. Like, to me, that just doesn't make no sense to me. Maybe it makes sense to y'all, but as of right now, it doesn't really make sense to me. WWE took away Riddle's and Theory's first names because of their past. I'm guessing you're referencing the allegations. I know Riddle was in some allegations in Theory as well. Braun Breaker and Cameron Grimes will retain their NXT titles at Summer Break-In. We will talk about that when I do my predictions for the show. Was Santino Marella's daughter here tonight? I do not know because I did not watch NXT 2.0 because of my internet. No, she wasn't there tonight. It was like a vignette, so like a little promo, like how they be hyping up like a superstar's debut. That's pretty much what she did tonight. She wasn't there like in the studio or anything like that. It was just a vignette. So WWE really took Tommaso out of Ciampa's name. Why does WWE have to be so difficult? Yeah, I honestly wouldn't say it's a problem. It's still Ciampa, Tommaso Ciampa. It's still the same guy. Just because they got rid of the first name, I wouldn't look at it as a big problem because it's still going to be the same Ciampa. So yeah. Okay, so we get a 3-on-2 handicap match between Legado del Fantasma versus Josh Briggs and Fallon Henley. This is pretty solid stuff. But we do see Legado del Fantasma get the win, of course. So, I had no problem with this whatsoever. Legado del Fantasma, pretty solid stuff tonight. They're, showing their way here in the tag team division, no doubt. But we do see, and I thought this was a really good matchup. Pretty solid stuff here. Solo Sequoia versus Trick Williams. We do see another vignette for Kiana James, the former Kaylee Inland. So again, some more NXT Women Breakout Tournament vignettes. But I want to say this about Trick Williams. I think Trick Williams, like, don't get me wrong, Carmelo Hayes is great, but I think Trick Williams, man, he does some pretty underrated stuff, man. Like, he's when you give him that chance, when you give him that run, he'll take it, man. Like, when you give him that ball, he will take it and he will run with it. Trick Williams really worked well tonight with Solo Sequoia, and like I said, Solo Sequoia gets the win. Cameron Grimes was on commentary. Cameron Grimes is getting in Carmelo Hayes' face, and then Solo Sequoia just super kicks this dude. Definitely intended for Cameron Grimes. It wasn't intended, like, commentary was like, was that intended for Carmelo Hayes? But obviously it wasn't. Yeah. But after that, man, we get another tag team match. We get Malik Blake and Idris Enough, which, by the way, these guys are freaking entertaining as hell. Like, those guys are freaking hilarious. Like, the little backstage segment that they had with obviously, like, Blade getting pumped up, Enough helping him out. Like, that stuff was entertaining, man. Like, those guys are freaking hilarious. But we see the return on NXT, the Viking Raiders. That's right, guys. We haven't seen the Viking Raiders on SmackDown. It's like ever since they lost, ever since the Usos dropped them, it's like the Viking Raiders haven't been seen on WWE SmackDown programming. So obviously the Viking Raiders will be facing Diamond Mine next week. So that should be a really good physical matchup right there. I think having the Viking Raiders come back to NXT, not a bad decision whatsoever. Okay, so after this, like I said, the Viking Raiders get the win here. And we see Wes Lee vignette. He talks about how it's been a long 6-month-long journey to get to the NXT Tag Team titles. Winning the titles was the best feeling, and while losing them sucked, he will get them back. Lee says that when a title is taken from you, not through a loss, but actually taken from you, it creates anger. And Lee also says that you can't forget the past, but he knows going at this alone will mean new challenges and new risk for the future. Now, Lee goes on and says that there are two ways he can go about it. He can, well, I'm not going to say it, but the B word ends with a B, well, starts with a B, ends with a H, and complain about how things aren't fair, or he can knuckle up and face his destiny and make waves like he's supposed to. This was a really good vignette. You know, Wesley, I feel like I don't want them to make him into a jobber. I don't want Wesley, now that his former tag team partner is no longer there with him. I don't want less Wesley to like just go off and just go into the astray and just fade into obscurity. You know what I mean? Like Wesley, because he's a talented wrestler. Like I think if the tools are right with this dude, I think he can be a pretty good, solid NXT North American champion. My opinion, but yeah. Okay, so I think the reason why WWE takes first names for wrestlers is because most of the wrestlers that gotten their first name taken away were from the black and gold brand. And I guess because with some of these people being on the indie scene, I think I heard a report saying like WWE doesn't want them to have like any like mention of their indie past, but I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know. Creed Brothers will beat the Viking Raiders. Yeah, I can see that happening. Why are the main roster wrestlers going to NXT 2.0? They're helping putting the young guys over. They're helping them put the people over there. That is the reason. There's no other reason why. That is the main reason. That is the only reason why the main roster superstars are down there in NXT 2.0, which I think is a definitely an amazing idea because it helps those young guys get over. You know, NXT is doing a really good job at promoting their young stars and just doing all that good stuff. And I don't know who made that decision, but whoever made the decision to start bringing the main roster superstars down to NXT. And you know what? Look at this. It's a win-win for both, because you look at some of the main roster guys like the Viking Raiders. We haven't seen them on WWE programming in like years now. And they pop up on NXT 2.0, and hell, they even stay there for a little while. It could put some stock in the Viking Raiders as well. But we do get the main event of the night. We get the NXT Women's Championship. The NXT Women's Champion, Toxic Attraction, Mandy Rose taking on Roxanne Perez. This is a really good match, man. Definitely like Mandy Rose. Like the match didn't last long, but it was really good, man. Like Roxanne, I feel like it's going to be a matter of time before she probably ends up winning the NXT Women's Championship before Cora Jade does. No offense to Cora Jade, but like, man, Roxanne right now, I mean, the way that she is positioned, it's like she is already being groomed as the next up-and-coming star in this NXT 2.0 women's division. And even Mandy Rose did good as well, but Mandy Rose gets the win. So yes, despite the fact that Perez did not win, I don't want to hear no one say, oh, but she was buried, Perez should have won. I think it helped Mandy get the win here because it still solidifies that, Perez is still the new girl on campus and Mandy's the champ. Mandy is, well, again, just Mandy. And Hartley champions, hardly like win non-title matches. So for Mandy to win this one makes her look good as well as it looks Perez. If you book a match a certain way, you could still lose a match and you could still be looked good, not buried necessarily. Not buried. I do not think Wesley is talented enough to be NXT champion, but I do think he'll be talented enough to be NXT North American champion. I do agree. I think he'll be a pretty solid North American champion. AJ Styles beat Grayson Waller, so you really didn't put him over, but Grayson Waller had a great showing. Well, again, this goes back to what I'm saying. Like, a wrestler can still go over even with the loss. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bret the Hitman Hart is a prime example. Bret Hart beat Stone Cold, but Stone Cold got over. As a matter of fact, Stone Cold, that loss, if you think about it, that loss for Stone Cold meant more to his career, more than it probably would have meant if he beat Bret Hart. The last time the Viking Raiders were on the main roster was them losing to Omos in a handicap match. Yeah, and Omos squashed those guys, by the way. Like, he freaking squashed the Viking Raiders. All right, so we get the main segment of the night. Joey Gacy comes out and his mask is Staples. I'm telling you, man, this Joey Gacy, like, I don't know if this is a Bray Wyatt, like, everybody's saying how Joey Gacy is like Bray Wyatt, like the new version of Bray Wyatt, or like some Undertaker Ministry of Darkness, which is freaking crazy. But yeah, man. Anyways, Joey Gacy has his disciples coming out and talks about how NXT is the clay that he's been slowly been molding over the last 6 months. Speaking of molding, where the heck is Harlan at? Shouldn't Harlan be with Joey Gacy? It's like Harlan was with Joey Gacy when they kidnapped Rick Steiner, and Harlan just disappears, and we haven't heard or seen from him again. But after this storyline, we might start to see him again. But again, Joey Gacy, like I said, he just talks about he's gonna beat Bron Breakker at well, there might not even be an NXT title match with the way Joey Gacy was talking, because he said that Breakker has told us that his injury was so bad that he can't even defend his title next week. But of course, Hall of Famer Rick Steiner comes out. Rick is like, dude, my son is clear to compete. He's going to defend his title. And Joey's like, Mr. Steiner, you picked a great time to come back, or did you pick the worst possible time? Now, this is ridiculous. So, Rick Steiner, knowing fully well what he was getting himself into, you didn't think you could call up your brother, your boy, Big Papa. Like, this would have been a great time for Big Papa to come out. Scott Steiner, Scott Steiner would have came in there, and y'all know what Scott Steiner would have done. But nah, like Rick Steiner just knowing fully well, he just stands there while the disciples are coming out there and holding him. Bron Breakker comes out. Breaker's trying to beat up the disciples, but Gacy just tags Bron out of nowhere, like he was hiding behind one of the disciples. And Gacy takes the NXT title over his head. Well, raises it over Breakker, and that was the go home. That's how the show ended. And again, it's in situations like this where you should have called up. You should have called up Scott Steiner. I bet you Scott Steiner would have had no problem. Like, come on, Scott. Like your brother got kidnapped, your nephew, and you couldn't even help your own family. Like, come on, Scotty. Come on. So yeah, that was a pretty interesting ending to an NXT tonight. We all know Bron's probably gonna beat Joey Gacy. Well, not even probably. Like, we know he's gonna beat him. So yeah, this was pretty good stuff. This was pretty good stuff. Bron Breakker should be Braun Steiner. Well, Braun's trying to create a name for himself, so I can see why he's going by Bron Breakker. I mean, look at Santino Marella's daughter. If that's the case, she should have went by Marella should have been her last name, but it's not. I do not think Joey Gacy is the next Bray Wyatt. Thunder Rosa beat Dr. Britt Baker in a lights out match, but it made Dr. Britt Baker a bigger star. Well, I mean, Britt is slightly overrated, but I do get what you mean by that. There is no way Joey Gacy is going to beat Bron Breakker to win the NXT Championship. Yeah, that is true as well. So, that's NXT tonight. There's really nothing else I could say. So what we are going to do now, I want to show you guys something here on Twitter. It's obviously about what Becky Lynch said today. She said Becky pulled a Seth Rollins. She was talking about AEW today. Let me see if I can find it here. Rick Steiner is crying that Bron Breakker is not losing. Steiner has his last name. Thanks for this review because I missed NXT 2.0 this week. Hey, man, I appreciate it. And by the way, guys, I appreciate everybody in here right now. If you can, hit the like button. Appreciate the comments and everything, guys. Like, I really appreciate it. But we're gonna end this off with the tweet right here. Uh, so Becky Lynch was on her Seth Rollins today. Y'all remember back in 2019, Rollins just went on an absolute Twitter craziness, calling out Will Ospreay, saying how WWE is the best wrestling promotion in the world, calling out, comparing bank accounts. And Becky here, let me fully screen so you guys can see it better. So Becky Lynch, this was she was featured on the Cut of the Day, and she was talking about the AEW Women's Division, and she said, and I quote, "I don't think we are represented the way we are. They don't get as much time as we get, and frankly, they're not as good as we are." So Becky Lynch just 100, just completely shoots on the women's division in AEW. Let's read some of these comments here. And this is the full interview if you want to go check it out. And as we see our first comment here, DMD, Ruby Soho, Thunder Rosa, Rio, Tony Storm, Hikaru Shida, Serena D would beg to differ. Let's read some of these comments here. Yeah. Hold on, guys. I will be right back, actually. Hold on. Oh, mic is muted. Yeah, guys, sorry about that. I had to take care of something real quick, so I really apologize for that. Like, no joke. Like, I apologize for that. But yeah, so as you can see, some of these comments here. With again, I'm just telling you, man. Seth freaking Rollins got Becky Lynch representing WWE now, just like him. Yo, true that, player. True that. Yep. um. Yeah. So Becky, so she wasn't holding back, man. Like she just was not holding back. Um. And honestly, I can get what Becky's saying. Like, honestly, every company has their flaws. So I can kind of see where she's saying with that. Uh. Oh my God, look at Rhea Ripley, man. Rhea Ripley has got to be one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. Like, we were just talking about Becky, and now we're looking at freaking Rhea and her beautiness. So yeah, but that is that. But yeah, Becky was just shooting completely on these guys. Rhea Ripley may join Judgment Day. Oh yeah, and speaking of that, that is the new name of the stable, Judgment Day, which is really odd because this is literally the Judgment Day. Obviously, WWE used to have their Judgment Day. This is the Judgment Day poster, and look who's. This was the last time WWE did a Judgment Day, and look who's on the poster. It's freaking Edge. It's so ironic how Edge is literally on the poster. I hope you guys can see it. But Yeah, it's Edge. Edge is literally on the dang poster of Judgment Day. That to me is just insane. How yeah, Edge and Damian Priest stable is named after a pay-per-view. Yes, it is. Um I thought Edge Lord would have been a cool name, but Judgment Day is cool. I don't got a problem with them calling it Judgment Day. Um but yeah. Yep. So again, that was NXT tonight. This is a little creepy, LOL. Is it? I'm guessing you mean the face that Edge is making. I don't. I think you're. Yeah, I think their stable should just be called Judgment. Yeah. Uh, that's cool. I mean, Judgment Day. It's I know what just happened. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. I think Undertaker's straight taking over my stream now. I don't know, but yeah. Oh, the face Edge is making. Oh yeah. So that's it. That's NXT. I don't wanna keep you guys on here. I've been on here for like 30 something minutes. I appreciate the people still in the chat though. I really do. Um, Thank you everybody for watching and tuning into the stream, liking, commenting. Again, if this is your first time here, if you can, make sure you subscribe. Oh, Sammy Callahan is hacking. Oh yeah, true that. He could be. I hope Sammy Callahan's making his return back. Like, he's been out with an injury for like ages now. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow for Dynamite. Also, I got a video, like I said, coming out Thursday. It's gonna be about Randy Orton and John Cena. It's gonna be a really good one. I think you guys are gonna freaking enjoy it. So, again, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Don't worry, I won't say it again. I know you guys are probably tired of me saying that. But yeah, let's see here. Sammy Callahan's coming back at Under Siege. We'll see. Anyways, this has been the Kid DC Wrestling. Again, hope you enjoyed this review. And so, yeah.